What's going on, guys? It's Split Dip, and today we will be looking at a replay of Beast Coast's K1 Hector, the pioneer of Radiance and arguably one of the best carry players when it comes to hyper farming Radiance heroes. This video will consist of some tips and tricks for playing Abaddon carry at an optimal level, and that will win you some MMR. I personally believe Abaddon carry might be a bit too strong at the moment. Hector has played this in the past, and even for myself, it was a hero I'd consider picking last patch when versing really tough lanes. Now it's even better. Before we get into the farming rotations and tricks for Abaddon, let's look at what Abaddon offers as a carry and when to pick him. Number 1, Abaddon is a strong laner. This is due to his ability to trade with shield and his built-in slow from level 1 or 2, depending on when you take it. His abilities alone allow for a strong lane, but his base stats seal the deal. Starting with 325 move speed and nearly 60 damage, this allows Abaddon to start with a build that helps him sustain the lane. For example, this can be a stick plus Quelling Blade, Tango's branches. Some players do like to do triple gauntlet, double gauntlet. I personally believe the stick is the better option due to him already having great stats. Combining this with his newly improved bat buff, the hero is a straight up menace to verse in lane. Offlaners who are naturally slow struggle in this lane, especially when Abaddon is paired with a lane bully, some examples being Silencer, Shaman, or Snapfire. I'm sure there's some other ones, but those are ones that come to mind. Radiance being cheaper brings a lot of heroes into the spotlight now, but the issue with a lot of heroes that build it, they have very little presence as a hero before the timing. Abaddon, on the other hand, while sticking to farming, can show up to fights in the mid lane with just phase boots and still do a lot of damage and disruption in fights. An example of a few Radiance heroes that are weak before their timing would be Alchemist, Anti-Mage with the new Radiance build by Pure, and then Faceless Void, which I am seeing more and more. That is usually paid as 2 or 3 though, but it definitely still has a role for carry. If the enemy's timing or offlaners is related around Meteor Hammer, or they have a strong kill threat at 6, Mars doing both those things at the moment, Abaddon just doesn't care. He can actually just run up to these heroes, force his ult to trigger after trading so much, and that in itself will result in space in the lane, and it makes the offlaner afraid to walk up in threat of losing too much HP or ultimately dying. Here's a clip of K1 doing exactly that. Now let's get into farming as Abaddon. A misconception I see a lot is Abaddon is weak at farming till he gets his Radiance. He is no alchemist or nature's prophet, but he is certainly not slow. If you know how to maximize shield usage and bully the offlaner once you get phase, your creeps will be uncontested, giving you space in lane, meaning you won't feel threatened. You should secure every single creep, and it'll give you time to farm the small and the large camp every minute. Very similar to how Slark works, how he will Dark Pact a wave and then run and farm 2 to 3 camps and come back. Now the timing for Radiance here should usually be 16 minutes in a stable game, with even 15 minutes being pretty normal. K1, however, in this game gets it at 13 minutes, which is just crazy. While looking at Dota 2 Pro Tracker, you'll see most pros get Radiance at 15 to 20 minutes. K1 consistently can get it under 15 minutes, which no pro, at least to my knowledge, is able to do. Okay, so in terms of farming efficiencies, we have tip number 1. Once you get your level 2, immediately pressure. I briefly went over this, but the idea is by immediately putting pressure onto the offlaner in the 4, you may lose some creeps in the first initial waves. As long as they don't get denied in the process, that is definitely a win for you. Doing this establishes dominance in lane, and it means that they are less likely to contest denies, and it just means that you are winning the HP trades. Trick number 2, when buying phase boots, go for the chainmail first. My understanding of this is that you get more EHP out of the shield when you have more armor. Your trades obviously become a lot better due to this, and you could argue that the attack damage from phase boots is better. but K1 nearly always goes Chainmail in his games, including when he's playing his signature Wraith King. Tip 3, once you have phase and level 5 to 6, you just need to push the lane non-stop and pressure the enemy's tower. So whenever a creep wave comes up to you, you just need to click it down constantly. Sit on top of the creep wave if it's going to explode on the enemy as well. And just focus on pushing it towards the enemy so you can farm other camps. And if that's not an option and you are completely dominating the lane, you will want to push the tower due to your passive, letting you hit that very, very quickly. Now, in doing this, you will force rotations from the enemy, whether that's the mid laner or the support from the other side of the map. Doing so frees up lanes for your teammates, but it also allows you to create pressure in one area and leave and go to, say, mid. I probably wouldn't go off lane as Abaddon. Honestly, I think the jungle suits Abaddon's farming style pretty well, especially when he gets Radiance. It's only good farming Ancients, I find, if you're farming the enemy's Ancients. So we have a farming rotation here. K1 goes to the bottom tower, takes it, proceeds to run back to the jungle, waits for the wave to come to him, and then pushes it again as far out as he can. This results in Razor TPing bottom. He no longer has to be there. He doesn't have to look for the TP either. He just needs to push it out. But now someone's come to his lane. In the process of him pushing it out, he farms a few camps, runs mid, gets a wave that he usually wouldn't get, and then TPs back bottom for another wave. Now, this is extremely efficient. This is pretty much how you push the limits on the hero, and this is how you get Radiance timings 1 minute to 3 minutes quicker than usual. Whenever you can look for these opportunities, you want to take them up. It's an extra wave. The waves generally give the most gold at this point of the game. I think even more than Ancient or matching Ancient's gold. And then tip number 4, this is less Abaddon specific, although I do find Abaddon can use it the best due to his shield and his high move speed. When farming with Radiance, run through the camps and farm them together. Just try to hit the creeps to at least half or low HP and let the Radiance and the shield burst do the rest. And if you just sit in the middle of two camps, namely the Radiance small camp and the large camp on the safe lane, they will just keep running back to you and then eventually dying to Radiance. Doing this multiple times consistently and in any chance you can when dragging two camps together results in a much quicker timing. I'm sure a lot of players already know this, but I also see a lot of players not utilizing this. I do see people clicking camps down to 100 to 0 instead of letting the Radiance finish off the camp and just walking away. And this is going to wrap up the video for today, talking about K1 Hector's Abaddon and his utilization of Radiance and how he gets such quick timings. Thank you for watching my video. If you really enjoyed, please subscribe, leave a like, and comment on a hero you'd like me to review next. Peace.